Anomalisa is the sophomore film from writer and director Charlie Kaufman. The film chronicles the weekend of Michael Stone, who must give a seminar on customer service at a conference. Michael himself is deeply depressed and tired of the mundanity of his life. He's desperate to connect with anybody. What becomes extremely apparent early on while watching the film is that nearly every character in the film has an identical voice and face. This seems to imply that we are viewing the characters in the film how Michael sees them. Michael seems to view everyone as the same, with a bland, expressionless face and the same passionless, mundane voice. This is done to show how Michael is completely unable to connect to anyone. I mean, how could you connect with anyone if everyone you met seemed to be soulless and a carbon copy of everyone else? After Michael fails to pick up his former flame, he walks back to his hotel, and on the way back, he sees a sex toy shop. And him being drunk, he thinks it's a regular toy shop. He walks in to buy his son something. Michael sees an antique sex doll, which he views as pretty and unique, so he buys it. Later, while in his hotel room for the first time in the film, we hear a different voice. The voice belongs to Lisa. Michael views her as different from everyone else, but he only sees her this way, as at the moment he is so distraught and feels that he desperately needs someone. He has sex with her, and afterwards he falls asleep and has a nightmare. In the nightmare, we see why everyone's, including Michael's face, has those lines. It appears that those lines are just outlines of masks, that in the reality of the film hide everyone's true feelings and emotions. In the nightmare, his mask comes off, and he sees that there's nothing underneath his mask, indicating that he fears it is in fact him that's empty inside and not everyone else. In the morning, while eating and talking with Lisa, he cannot help but notice all of her new flaws. However, she has already had these perceived flaws. This leads him to leaving her and going on to give this seminar on customer service. In the speech, he mentions how everyone should see everyone else as an individual who has their own needs and emotions. This deeply affects him, as it's something he deeply struggles to do himself. He then returns home to his wife, son, and friends. He views everyone there as the same and doesn't recognize the majority of his loved ones. The film then ends with Michael staring at the doll. This shot seems to imply that it is in fact him that's the problem and not everyone else, and that he hasn't changed and still feels alone. A lot of people have said that Lisa is the doll, but I don't think that's the case. The film gives them so many things in common to hammer the ending's meaning home. Michael thinks he wants someone unique, but dismisses anyone that shows the slightest imperfection. He thinks the fact that someone is imperfect makes them just like everyone else. What's ironic is that it's those imperfections that make them unique. He stares at the doll, the only unique thing left in his eyes. The doll is what he truly wanted, an object without flaws that will only provide him with joy and nothing else. No heartbreak, only pleasure. Something that can only be found in a doll made for pleasure. Do you agree with my explanation of Anomalisa? Comment down below if you do or don't.